Hey, what is up? What is up, everybody? It's your girl, Lady Sola. I'm back in this thing here to talk to you about my reactions on Insecure Season 5, Episode 2, Growth. Okay, let's get into it. The highlights that stood out to me from this episode starts off with we get confirmation on a sense of time, where we are at right now. So it's a year later from, I'm assuming, from the 10-year reunion, I guess. Now they're showing us that a whole year has gone by, and we kind of get this quick montage of Issa and Molly and their like daily, day-to-day routine. The camera zooms in on a picture of the two of them, which I think was on Issa's board. So that lets us know that I think they're back. You know what I'm saying? So per Kelly's advice on, hey, you gotta be fake back before you can get to back. I'm assuming they went through the fake back moment, and here they are. Now they're back. They are officially good friends again. They're texting a lot more, spending time with each other, hanging out. Molly is seen sleeping over Issa's place, and apparently this is something that has been going on back and forth. So they are definitely in a very, very good place. The block is now at 10,000 followers on Instagram. So that's a major win for Issa. Issa and Nathan are still cool. So that was interesting to see. I was wondering if they were going to keep Nathan around with Lawrence in his situation. What was going to be of Nathan? Were they gonna write him off the show? Was he just not gonna show up? But we see he's still around. He's doing his barbershop thing. The barbershop has been open for over a year, or up to a year now. And so, hey, there's just great things happening all around this cast. Everybody, you can tell this season is definitely giving the vibe of we have come a long way. Everybody's doing good. Everybody's eating. Let's celebrate. So I love it. I love it. This is how this show should go out. Should go out with a bang and with a positive, powerful vibe. So we see that Issa and Nathan are very platonic. Issa's helping him to kind of map out what his 1-year anniversary event / party soiree should look like for the barbershop. She suggests to him that, hey, you should look at different locations, especially if you're going to have a good amount of people coming. And so she's helping him with that, which is cool. Molly seems to be ready to get back onto the dating scene. We see her on her phone looking at old dating apps that she's made many years ago, and she looks like she wants to start dating again. So this should be interesting. When she's going on the app to kind of see what her profile description was, she just had all these, very like stern, strict, high, super high expectations. Nothing wrong with it, but the description that she put is just a bit off-putting, for any guy that maybe wants to date her and to see what she's about. It's a bit judgmental, a bit harsh. And she read it like, dang, I really was doing the most. So once again, we get a hint that Molly is growing, guys. We don't need to hate Molly. I know she was the villain last season, and I think that really bothered Yvonne Orji a lot, that people really turned on her. Fans hated her and really blamed her for her and Issa's fallout. She definitely, in my opinion, deserves more of the blame, but Issa was no innocent victim. There was definitely some shady things that were done on both ends, and some careless and inconsiderate things that were done and said on both ends. Unfortunately, the crowd was voting Molly off the island for sure. So it's good to kind of see this is like maybe a redemption season in a way for Molly, because we're seeing her be real with herself and take accountability, so it's definitely, Molly is definitely getting an A+, okay, for growth, for sure. Next up, we see that Issa's partner, I guess this will be a partnering agency. I really don't know what to call it. If they're an investment agency or some sort of angel investor, or I'm not sure, but they obviously are working with Issa's company to help provide funding for her event and for this artist named Crenshaw, who is an ex-con that is from, I believe he's from LA. He did time in prison, and while in prison, he discovered a passion for fashion, and ever since he got out, he's really been like hitting it hard, and seems like he's a rapper as well. So you kind of have, like this double fold of talent with, fashion and music. But unfortunately, MBW, the partner agency, they are kind of pushing back on the whole idea of Crenshaw leading the show, being the solo act, being the main attraction. And, with them being a new company that needs to be very vigilant with how they spend their money, they are definitely very hesitant to push this whole vision, this whole fashion show for the way that Crenshaw and Issa have already agreed that it was going to be like. So yeah, this is definitely hitting a snag in this event. So yeah, Issa is telling them, hey, like he's from the community, he gets it, he's super talented, he's gonna become a big deal, like y'all need to get in on this, like don't mess up. I'm telling you, my ear has been to the streets. I was born and raised here. Like, I am LA. Like, this is what I do. I love the shit. Like, come on. Like, don't be that, company that is 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to take risk. And, so their initial idea was like, hey, how about we bring on other acts, other artists, that can kind of, I guess, be a part of the show. And I guess their logic behind that is that, hey, if we bring on artists that have a slightly bigger following and that have been doing this a little bit longer than Crenshaw has, then we for sure will, I guess, sell more tickets, or, I don't really know. I guess it has to do with ticket sales or something like that. I'm not sure, but in their minds, they feel like the best thing to do is to bring on more acts so that he's not by himself, because maybe there's a concern that they're going to lose money because people aren't going to show up or something like that. So, hey, let's bring on other artists that have the same vibe. But this is an issue, because Issa and Crenshaw have a vision of putting the show together specifically because he is from LA, Crenshaw area, and that is the whole, I guess, appeal of doing this show. And probably many events that she wants to do is probably going to be centered around this whole, I want to highlight my community, where I come from, the beauty of it, how we can make it better, how we can develop it and give people from this community opportunities. So I think that's really the whole vibe of what the block is. So this whole idea of bringing in other artists, not to say that they can't make it mesh and make it aesthetically pleasing, but it just takes away from the meaning and the core essence of what Issa wants the block to be and what Crenshaw wants his show to be, because he got a whole production. I don't know if it's prison life where you just have way too much time on your hands and you're able to just think about shit and just come up with so much detail and so many things, but I'm guessing prison must have helped him with that, because he got lowriders, he got bandanas on faces, okay? He got drummers, he got interpretive dancers. Like, he has a whole, like, this is a whole production. And it's pretty amazing, just based on how they were describing it. Like, wow, this is going to be a really good show if this NWB group or MBW, whatever, doesn't sabotage it, So they agree that with another conversation with Issa and with the head person, they all agreed that, okay, we're not going to bring on extra people, but, you know, in order to give some, they gotta take some away. So you know it's going to be some BS. Anytime it's like, oh, we just want to make a few changes. Oh, well, we just need to talk about a few things. You know something is not going to be right. And so the notes that they have were to cut out a whole portion of the show that, you know, was, I think, going to be the best part. And to just cut out the performances, take away certain props, like the lowriders that they were going to be using. So a real major part of the show, they're just like slash. I think with Issa being so new in this field and so new with her company, she didn't push back as much as maybe she will do in the next 5 years when she's really established and when she's really calling the shots and probably has generated enough profitability in her own company to provide funding directly, okay? Because that's probably what's down the line for Issa and her company. But she's not there yet, right? So she has to answer to somebody else. And, you know, and she doesn't want to rock the boat too much. So she goes along with it. Okay, there's notes, you know, at least we're still doing the show. At least they didn't cancel it. At least they didn't pull out. So the worst has not happened. So I'll just make it work. Talk to Crenshaw. Let him know we're still going to do the show. It's still going to mean something. And we're still going to put on a good show, even though they cut out, like, a big part of it. Crenshaw was not happy. He was not happy to hear that, but he's like, all right, I trust you. Let's do it. Definitely wasn't happy about it. He definitely was like, maybe they don't see the vision. Maybe they need to go, and we need to keep it moving. He was leaning towards that side of like, let's just not do this with them. But thankfully, Issa talked them back into it and assured him that, listen, y'all have been trying to get this going for 6 months. So I think Issa at that point is like, I didn't just do all this for nothing. Like, I believe in you. Walking away from this, not having somebody else lined up is a way worse move than to stick with what we have and just to make the best of it. And plus, she's been at this for 6 months. So this is also her blood, sweat, and tears as well. So I understand. Crenshaw conveniently decides, you know what? I told Issa I'm okay with the changes, but after giving it some more thought, yeah, I'm not cool with that shit. Fuck that. We're putting everything back in. So and the fact that he didn't say nothing, he didn't mention nothing to her, he didn't pull it to the side, he didn't text her, he didn't give her a quick call, he didn't greet her when she got to the set to say, hey, Issa, we got to catch up. So clearly what I'm thinking is that when they had the conversation where Issa said, hey, there's notes, they got to cut some things out, he's like, all right, yeah, I'll go with it. I think in the back of his mind, from that moment, he was like, I'm going to wing this. I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't think he ever really was okay with cutting things out of his show. You just said that to Issa to make it seem like everything is all good, but he wasn't cool with it. Clearly. So that definitely causes a bit of a tense discussion between the two of them, and he's like, I'm not a sellout. I didn't work this hard to have somebody that doesn't know who I am and what I bring to the table, have them come in and fudge everything up and compare me to whack rappers that I don't even mess with or respect. Nope, we're keeping the show the way it is. Their asses is going to find out today. They going to learn today. That's what he said. He said that's what it is. So what Issa gonna do? What she gonna do? Go up to that man and fight him? Like, no. This is either gonna go up in flames or it's gonna be the most amazing risk ever. You know? So thankfully, the show went off without a hitch. It was dope. Really dope. And he loved it. Going into my favorite parts of this episode, that was definitely one of my favorite parts, was just the whole fashion show, seeing it all come together, seeing that there was 2 parts to it. And I'm glad that, Seth or whatever his name was, that he was like, I loved it. I was blown away. Thank you for taking this risk. Thank you for pushing us and for literally showing us that this was the way the show should have been done. Issa was kind of already okay with throwing in the towel, bending to their demands, and all the while, if she would have just pushed, it would have all worked out. But thankfully, Crenshaw did the pushing for both of them, and it did work out. But so that was a great lesson. What I learned from that is that sometimes you have to be stubborn, and sometimes you have to be willing to, do what you feel is right, even when others around you are saying, no, we can't do it this way, it's not possible, let's change it, let's do it this way. Sometimes if it's something, it's just gnawing at the inside of you saying, this isn't right. I know the vision I had. I thought every detail out. I mapped it all out. I was so excited about it. Like, this was going to be epic, and now they just want to water the whole thing down. Like, and sometimes you just have to trust your vision and fight and stand your ground for it, and take that risk like Crenshaw did, and it ended up paying off. Yeah, it could have went the opposite way, but at the end of the day, he still wouldn't have had any regrets because the show was dope. So I think there's a lesson to that. Is to bet on yourself. You know what I mean? Sometimes trust the work that you put in. Don't let other people dictate what you know is good. So shout out to Crenshaw from that. Definitely one of my favorite moments. Another favorite moment is another flashback situation. I had a favorite moment from first episode with Issa having a flashback moment in the mirror. And this episode, I love the Molly dating flashbacks. And it just shows how she used to be in her several previous relationships, and how she overanalyzed, how she was negative, how she jumped the gun, how she was just like doing too much in different ways. And you just saw that all play out in all her other relationships. And I just love that they showed those flashbacks. I would love to see more of that. Maybe they'll do that more throughout this season, since it's the final season. It was nice to just see old episodes. Like, wow, like, oh my God, I forgot she had her hair like that. And man, she's fly, and in the clip where she was in the office talking on the phone with Issa, and this is when Issa was with We Got Y'all, I swear she looks just like Jo Marie Jones. Tony, aka Tony from Girlfriends, she was like a stunt double for her. There's one clip in this episode. Go back and watch it. She looked just like her. I could not believe it. I'm like, wow. Like, she do low-key kind of look like her in some like angles and some outfits that she wears. But in that like first season, I think that was from the first season, I want to say. Like, she looked just like her. Check out that clip from the flashbacks that they showed. I loved it. I love that Kofi Cerebo was guest starring in the show. Like, yes, like, he is amazing. Like, Queen Sugar, Girls Trip, he is so talented. Just really dope. So I'm just glad that he, got kind of his shine on this show. I think he's a great fit for the show, and yes, good one. Good casting right there. Insecure. Very good casting. The episode ends with Issa and Nathan hanging out at Issa's place. It starts getting late. Issa's getting tired. He like, all right, I'm gonna head out. Let me order my Lyft. And she's like, why don't you just stay the night? It's like, oh, that's an option? And so I'm like, oh, wow, is this where we're going in the season? Is it going to just basically be Issa getting back with Nathan and them just sailing off into the sunset? But not quite, because she does start crying as they're kissing. So that shows that she is not over Lauren. She's not ready to just jump back into a new relationship. She's not ready to revisit whatever her and Nathan had. She just ain't ready for none of this. You know what I mean? It seemed like it was the right time. It seemed like it would be a nice little cute thing, him leaning in for the kiss. But it's just not right. It's not right timing. Maybe it's not the right guy. I don't know. But all I can say was this scene cracked me up. I really thought this was supposed to be like a comedic like moment, and it wasn't, and that just made it even more funny to me. Like just the way she just started laughing, the way she started crying out of nowhere, like I was like, what? Like it was just so, I don't know, the way she started crying, it just felt like I should be laughing. Like it just felt funny, and it wasn't. That's the part that mentally I couldn't like figure it out. Like, oh, this is a serious moment. I don't know. I thought it was funny. But anyways, those are all my thoughts for Insecure Season 5, Episode 2, Growth Okay. So let me know what you thought about this episode. Hey, we're rolling. We in it. It's happening. The episodes are rolling in. You know, things are moving and shaking. Let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are on this episode. Leave your favorite moments. If you have a favorite part, leave it in the comments. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate the support. I'm like try to keep it going every week. That's the goal, to give you these reactions. It's your girl, Lady Sola. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this, learn a little something, hear a new perspective on the show. And I will see y'all next time. Bye.